let's see if I can like follow all this up, and everybody wants to go home and I'm hungry and my sugar's crashing. But I do want to pass this around. I found this in the bathroom. And it was kind of, it's the picture of a Sufi dancing. And I thought it was kind of interesting, especially as we're talking about deep traditions and how they mix with mysticism. I want to start this, though, by telling you a story. When I was 3 years old, and those of you who know me, yes, thank you. Well, all right, let me. No.
You need to go.
David, just thank you.
Help you.
When I was 3 years old, my mother took me to a theme park. And
You got it right there.
there it is. And the exhibit that I went into was an old lady in the shoe. And in the shoe was a wallpaper. And in the wallpaper was a stairway that went up to ostensibly a second floor. So I'm looking around, there's a guy there with his kid, and the guy's kind of tall, and he's all scrunched over, and he kind of wants to leave. He takes his kid out, and it's empty, no toys, nothing in there. I was thinking about going, and all of a sudden I heard, "Psst, Amanda." And I looked around, "Amanda?" That's me, not you. And I saw 3 little girls on the bottom of the staircase waving at me. And they went running up the stairs, they went up to the top of the banister, and they were going, "Amanda!" How many times do they have to say my name? I freaked. I was 3, but I knew this wasn't normal. And I went out, Mom caught a picture of me, and she saw my expression. And that was the rest of my life. My life, I am 62 years old, has been about what the living hell was that? I saw in his hand a long spear of gold, and at the iron's point there seemed to be a little fire. He appeared to me to be thrusting it at times into my heart and to pierce my very entrails when he drew it out. He seemed to draw them out also and to leave me on fire with a great love of, not God, but an entity, an angel, something that was connected to her. The pain was so great that it made me moan. And yet so surpassing was the sweetness of this excessive pain that I could not be rid of it. The soul is satisfied now with nothing less than God. The pain is not bodily but spiritual. Though the body has its share in it, it is a caressing of love so sweet, which now takes place, of love so sweet. I'm losing this here.
You're missing a line between
Okay, well, pray God of, okay, whatever this is, you're getting that, right? Pray God of his goodness to make him experience it who may think I'm lying, all right? I am not lying. And yes, there is something about this being that pierces my heart, and I think about him every minute of my day. God damn, I'm a mystic, and no science can tell me I'm not. And as I stand here before you speaking, no, at 3, I had no discipline. I had no religion. My mother didn't even take me to church. She didn't believe in religion. And yet I had these experiences, because later I had others, and I'm not going to bore you with those. Our second date, I'll tell you more stories. But for now, I want to say that there is a human experience that happens to some of us, and maybe it's a right brain thing. Maybe it's some sort of relationship that we have with something. Man, I'd love to know what that is. Which is why I just begged, pleaded, hollered about bringing in two scientists that, at least for now, can help me define, can help people who are praying and get answers to their prayers. What is that? There's other things that can't be measured. I loved what Marcus said. There's something that we have in common with science, which is some cultural connection, right? Artists do it all the time. We heard earlier about Louis Stevenson, right? Who did Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He also said, in winter I get up at night and dress by yellow candlelight. In summer, just the other way. I have to go to bed by day. I have to go to bed and see the birds still hopping in the trees and see the grown-ups, people's feet still passing by me in the street. And does it not seem odd to you that all the sky is clear and blue, and I should like so much to play, to have to go to bed by day? He wrote Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, for God's sakes. So, if we want to talk about insanity, we can. If we want to talk about definitions, we can. Let me remind you that the whole idea of labeling some kind of mental problem came with Freud, who was trying to define these experiences that people had and threw them off to the outer regions. Scientists do that all the time. It isn't just those of us that are mystical. Tesla, right? How crazy was Tesla? And how marvelous were all of his contributions to our society? All I can say, no. He kind of gave a well, whatever.
No, we go.
But the point is that he went, actually Tesla had a journey over to England, and who is the doctor who did, the scientist that did radiant matter? Sir William...
Crook.
What?
Crook.
Crookes. Sir William Crookes. And he was a spiritualist, and he believed in spirits, and he got all this money stolen from him by frauds who were doing seances, and he got all excited, and they were presenting photographs of spirits, and it was all a lie. That doesn't mean that there aren't spirits, and it doesn't mean that there aren't psychics, and it doesn't mean that there aren't mystics. It means that some people are coming in and doing bad mysticism, are frauds, are taking money from the naive. Doesn't make me naive. Frustrated, perhaps, but not naive. So that's all I want to say for now. I'm hot, I'm tired, I want to go home. But,
What about Halloween?
any questions, just so that we can...
Well, Amanda, not so much a question, but more as information. Neuroscience has been kind of a hobby of mine, but I'm not a scientist. It's been interesting to me, the things that they've been measuring over the last 20 years, how the reports have been changing. The brain used to be this fixed thing, and now they're talking about neuroplasticity. A few years ago, I was watching a documentary that this one doctor says he's identified one of the parts of the brain that's associated with spiritual experiences. A few months ago, I was reading another article. Now they're saying there are 5 different parts of the brain that are associated with spiritual experiences. Science is moving in that direction. You know, one day we will merge and be able to measure. And the thing with science, if you don't have the equipment to measure the phenomena, does that mean it doesn't exist?
No.
And, so I'm going, in a couple hundred years, when we have better equipment, we've gathered more information, we've been able to collate it and understand the body better, we might be in a position where we're measuring all these wonderful things. But right now, it's kind of guesswork.
Well, there's two types of research too. I mean, there's like the neuroscience you're talking about. Northwestern's doing a lot with it. I've read some work they're doing with the brain. And there's also, it's probably considered much more lightweight, but like the books of Lynn Taggart, which will actually try to be talking about faith healing and some of the bad and good research along with faith healing, as well as I forget what else, the other stuff, or the whole point of intention or intent, and measuring are there true, which is a sort of a crossover between the biological and physical worlds. Is there a crossover between intent, and can one actually, through intention, through cohesive mental, is the universe mental, and can you impact it?
Markea Iliadi, right? He really wanted to explain some of this by saying that it isn't an object that has magic. It's our intent into that object. And I would say that the human brain is magnificent. I gotta admit that. I mean, if as a child there's a billion different things you could be getting in out of your world, why is it that you just grab on to certain details as you're growing up? What is it that imprints us? What is it? I mean, I could keep going. But I do believe that it's through my intent. I do believe it is through my belief. I do believe it is from my experience. If I've experienced this at 3, it's going to draw me in to other experiences in the future. I am going to see 23 as magical. And I think that we can begin to bridge them all together. I think this is possible. And I really appreciate the people that were here today. Thank you very much, including you guys. Happy Maybon. And let's go eat. I'm hungry.
Anybody that wants to fold up chairs to kind of